one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, and you do something about it because you can.
This story is brought to us from the Texas Tribune. Houston police are being instructed to call federal immigration authorities if they come across an individual who has deportation orders listed in the National Crime Database. Now, the new guidance to law enforcement in Texas's largest city comes after the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officials added 700,000 individuals with deportation orders to the National Crime Information Center database, which is used widely by local law enforcement across the country to track warrants, missing persons, stolen property, and other criminal records. 700,000. The Houston Chronicle first reported on the guidance last Friday, citing an email from Executive Chief Thomas Hardin. According to the Chronicle, the email said if officers must call federal authorities when they discover a hit in the federal system. Hardin told officers to consult with federal authorities on how to handle the situation, including remaining at the scene for ICE to arrive. Quote, if that is not feasible or offered, our officers will select whatever option does not involve transporting the individual, Hardin wrote in an email. That's according to the Chronicle. Now, the updated guidance comes after Houston police recently called ICE on an undocumented immigrant motorist after stopping him for a cracked windshield, bringing renewed attention to local law enforcement's involvement in immigration enforcement. Trying to read. Um, there are more than 1.4 million people with active deportation orders across the country. ICE's inclusion of individuals with deportation orders in the crime database broadens the ability for local law enforcement to identify undocumented immigrants. Previously, law enforcement across the country, local law enforcement, did not have access to such administrative warrants. Quote, we've never seen ICE detainers before. They were just never in our system, said Doug Griffith, a spokesperson for the Houston Police Officers Union. Now, he goes on, now the feds have put that into system. So if we stop somebody and they show an ICE detainer, immigration, we have to contact ICE or whatever agency they have the warrant out of. Erica Ramirez, a spokesperson for the Houston Police Department, told the Texas Tribune that it is Houston police protocol to contact any agency whenever an active warrant comes back from the NCIC database. She said, a warrant is a warrant. It's always been our protocol to contact that agency that issued the warrant to determine how they wanted to handle it. Ramirez added that Houston police do not ask individuals about their immigration status, so they don't ask them. She declined to share the internal email with the Tribune. Interesting. Houston Police Department protocol has stated since 2020 that officers shall contact ICE if a background check through NCIC or TCIC returns a possible hit from ICE regarding a wanted or detained person. Cesar Espinosa, executive director of FIEL Houston, an immigrants' right organization in the city, said police need to clarify the extent they'll cooperate with immigration enforcement officers. Said it's important that before cities put out policies that they really think about the impact. If trust is chipped away, then at the end of the day, we are all more vulnerable. Now, nearly 550,000 undocumented immigrants live in the Houston area, according to the Migration Policy Institute. Not all cities said they would call ICE if a deportation order appears in NCIC. In Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh officials said in January that they will not arrest or detain individuals based on administrative warrants. Espinoza and other immigrant advocates in the city criticized Houston police after officers stopped Jose Armando Lainez Argueta, an undocumented immigrant, for a cracked windshield on his car earlier this month. The officers called ICE officers who took Linez into custody. He's now being held at the Montgomery Processing Center in Conroe. Espinoza told the Tribune, maybe this is status quo now, that they'll question people about anything, which could lead us down a very dark road for the Houston community. So, to sum it all up, and the bottom line is um, the federal ICE now, immigration enforcement, is telling Houston, Texas, look, you got 550,000 people there. You get an ICE warrant, you arrest that guy, and you call us, we're going to deport. That's what they're saying. So I mean, it's getting real. It's getting real, guys. And so if you don't have a legal permanent resident card, or if you're not a naturalized U.S. citizen, or some other, legal forms of residential documentation in the U.S., it's coming down. It's coming down. What do you all think?